with Mark Markow, and we're interviewing different producers to kind of see like what is their R&Y story. What does Ross Yerger mean to them, and how did they get here?
Thanks, Lizzie. Mark Markow, born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi. Been with Ross Yerger for 20 years. Currently leading our future partner group of producers.
So wow, 20 years, that's a long time. Can you tell us a little bit about your career journey? Have you had the same role all 20 years, or has it been a little kind of everywhere?
It's a good question, and mine is probably a unique journey within the agency. I was hired essentially out of college. I had worked briefly before coming here. I was hired as a benefits producer, and frankly wasn't mature enough at that age to handle the responsibilities and the autonomy that come along with being a producer. And this will be a pattern that repeats itself, but the agency saw something in me, and we actually, about a year in, created a new position, a position that has grown into a department now. I was our first resource specialist, incorporating our agency's technology, resources, people into not only the sales process, but the service process as well. After doing that for a couple of years, Greg Maloney, who was leading the Future Partner Group at the time, asked me to come on and take a little bit more of a day-to-day role in managing that group. Did so. We had tremendous success, hitting on about 75% of producers that we hired, creating new shareholders, and I really enjoyed that time. Became friends with one of the folks that I worked with, Bailey Minitry. We had run around in the construction industry a lot during his training process. Decided to get back into production as a construction producer. Did that for about 10 years. Had success. Probably not success to the level that I ultimately wanted to, and that the agency wanted me to. And with our growth, Scott Moak had come in and taken over the Future Partner Group, but our agency had grown so much, leading validated producers, shareholder producers, leading new producers, training them, had really become too much for one person to handle. And so a few years ago, the agency asked me to come back in and work with the Future Partner Group of producers again. So I'm about 2.5, almost 3 years into that role. It's taken me a while to figure it out, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at, the type of role that I can have success in, and really have found a spot within the agency that makes me very happy, and I think that happiness comes from some of the success that we enjoy.
And something I tell people all the time just about Ross Yerger is they really try to find the right fit for you. I'm curious, year one, how many Ross Yerger employees were there to now year 20?
So when I was hired, September of 2004, we were in downtown Jackson. And we had 45 employees, I believe, is how many we had. And I think right now, you would know this better than I do, but I think we're around 175, 180 employees. We're probably 2 hires in the Future Partner Group away from having more Future Partner Group producers today than we had total producers when I came into the agency. So
Wow.
It's been quite a ride.
But just, you mentioned you work with a lot of our younger guys. What do you think, how do you feel like how we train people set us apart?
Yeah, it's a good question. Our industry is a very challenging one. I think industry-wide, 95% of producers / salespeople watch out. Our training, and training is part of it, but really what separates Ross and Yerger in the development of new producers is, I use the word investment. Investment in people, investment by people of time. When you think about the role that I'm in right now, not all agencies have a management level person whose really sole responsibility is the development of these newer, less experienced producers. We have tremendous partners that we invest in, consultants, carrier partnerships, providing our new producers opportunities to go out and hear from other folks that have had success on why they've had success. And then, one person cannot create the type of group and growth that ultimately our agency wants. What really sets us apart, in my opinion, and it all kind of comes back to the private ownership, is we have experienced producers who are now shareholders who have a vested interest in the success of our new producers. And, at a lot of agencies, a successful producer really has very little, if anything, to gain from the development of a young producer. And at Ross Yerger, with the ownership and the equity model, when the agency does well, everybody within the agency does well. When a new shareholder is created, it benefits the existing shareholders. So there's really a lot of synergy there.
What's one of your favorite parts about working here?
My answer to that is probably very much in line with my personal journey through Ross Yerger. I've been here for 20 years, so I've had moments of success, but I've had moments of probably not performing to the level that I would like to perform to, and I think the agency would probably say the same thing. I think I am representative of a lot of people that have come and are still with the agency, and that we're so good at identifying the talents that our people have, and really, working rigorously to try to fit them into positions where they can maximize for themselves, but also maximize for the agency. I think that only comes along with the independence that we enjoy. The fact that I can walk, 8 doors down and talk to our CEO. Everybody on the leadership is accessible either a few doors down or a few buttons on the phone. Can talk to any of them, not an intimidating setting. It's very much a cooperative, collaborative setting, so that's my favorite part.
It's been cool sitting just from the outside, how now knowing how much the agency has helped you, I really do feel like, especially when you're working with our young guys, you are really trying to set them up for success. And I think it's cool because it comes from that genuine, people helped me find my niche, find the market I'm good in, and so I'm going to do the same for them. And I think that cord is also true through our leadership team and everyone. Someone at Ross Yerger helped them get to be where they're going to be, and they're going to help the next generation.
That's well said.
But kind of just talking about Ross Yerger in general, how do you feel, work-life balance?
I get to see it from a couple of different perspectives. As a producer, we're in the scoreboard business, right?
Yeah.
You eat what you kill. You work when you want to work. You play when you want to play, spend time with your family. So it affords you a ton of flexibility as a producer, but there's a tremendous amount of accountability in the results that are expected from you. So through that lens, you have the ability to create an incredible work-life balance. I'm also able to see it through the eyes of someone who's not a producer, and observing the changes that we've made over the years. And we've gone to more flexible schedules, 37.5-hour work weeks, summer Fridays, all of the things that I can see, all the steps I can see the agency taking to try to take care of their employees, to try to give them the opportunity to spend time with home, to spend time at home with their families. You can tell it's a very intentional effort that the agency makes to not consume the work, the employees with, that you always have to be on your phone, answering emails, that there's an on switch, there's an off switch.
Just kind of looking back on the 20 years that you've been at Ross Yerger, what would you say is a favorite memory that sticks out?
Yeah. Probably the only time I've almost been moved to the point of tears was at our annual meeting last year, when I very unexpectedly was named vice president. I've been here a long time. I was not expecting it. I was sitting around too many people to let it actually turn into tears. But it meant a lot. And then more broadly speaking, 2 different stints working with a future partner group of producers. And I think I was counting it up earlier today. I've been fortunate enough to see 9 of those that I've worked with become shareholders. And being able to see someone who comes on board sort of with a hope and a dream, and of what could happen, to see that happen is fantastic.
Well, thanks, Mark, for sitting down with us, and we appreciate you opening up our new series.
It's called My Story.